Ahoy there, Captain Benzie here, coming at you with another lesson for the Catskull Academy, the series that aims to teach you everything you need to know about the various different gameplay systems in effect in Eve Echoes. Now today's video is going to be featuring this vibrant monstrosity that you see on screen now, because we're going to be talking about nanocores. Yes, at long last, here is that full nanocore guide that I have been promising. Now, nanocores are a brand new and exciting feature that was added to Eve Echoes during the Exploration update, and they allow you to customize your ship, not just visually into a monstrosity like this, but also in regards to its background stats. And there's a lot going on with nanocores, so we're going to cover everything in this lesson, from how to build them, how to find them, how to fit them, how to modify them, and everything you need to know in between on that. So if you are still learning everything about Eve Echoes, make sure you are subscribed to this channel and you check out the Catskull Academy playlist. I will be going back and updating some of these over time as well, because there's new information and things to add into some of the older lessons. But otherwise, make sure you check out the Catskull Academy. And if you do want to represent the Catskull Academy, we even have a merchandise store available on Redbubble, where you can buy awesome t-shirts, COVID masks, laptops, skins, hoodies, you name it, it's all there. So, with all that said and done then, let's jump into today's lesson on nanocores. To start off with, it's worth understanding what nanocores are and why you may want to use them on your ships in the first place, and throughout this lesson we're going to use the Hurricane Angel Veteran nanocore as an example to demonstrate this with. So if I long press onto this, we can open up the stat page for it. Now, the simplest way, really, to think of nanocores is that they're kind of a cross between skins and modules. Now, it's worth noting that when you use a skin, you're able to apply it to every single one of that ship that you own. If you have 8 Hurricanes and you get the Hurricane Dawn skin, you can apply the Hurricane Dawn skin to every single one of your Hurricanes. Nanocores are different, and they are fitted explicitly to the one ship at a time. Now, by long pressing onto this one, we've brought up its stat page, and you can see here that the Angel Veteran core will give 14.4% cannon damage, or 14.4% missile torpedo damage, or 17.4% flight velocity. We know we only get one of those because it is a main attribute, and you will choose between these. It does actually say this beneath it, main attribute slot. When activating the nanocore, you can choose any of the following attributes to learn. I do kind of wish that was written above the main attribute, because when it says following it makes it sound like it's talking about the other things. But you will choose one of these main attributes. And if you're looking at certain other nanocores, for example the thermomagnetic ones, you may spot that there are sometimes secondary stats as well, but we'll cover that later on in the video. For now, understand that you have those 3 main attributes to choose from, and that those 3 attributes are tied to the Angel Veteran core. Because you may be thinking, why on earth does a Hurricane ever want missile or torpedo damage? The answer is that the Hurricane doesn't, but there are other ships that have Angel Veteran cores for them. For example, the Bellicose, just off the top of my head, and that of course does use missiles. For now though, just understand that it's the type of core, the Angel Veteran in this case, that sets the possible stats, not the ship that you fit it to. So if we go down, you see there is also an appearance customization attached to the Angel Veteran core, which gives you the Angel Veteran skin and allows you to modify the third part of the colours. Now, this is kind of misleading. I used to think that this was like, you could modify 3 parts of the colour. It's not. It's you can modify the third part of the palette, so to speak, and we'll talk more on that later. For now, just understand that it is the Angel Veteran skin. If you've had a look at the Hurricane skins, you may already know what that one looks like, and you can modify one of the aspects of its palette. Now, interestingly enough, are the applicable ships here. You'll see that the Hurricane Angel Veteran core applies to the Hurricane Prototype, the Hurricane Logistics, and the Hurricane Guardian. It is not tied to any particular Hurricane in specific, like skins are. Skins, you'll see you have the Hurricane skin, the Hurricane Prototype skin, a Hurricane Logistics skin, and so on and so forth. With nanocores, that one core serves all ships, and that is kind of a blessing and a curse. It means that, for example, if you wanted to put a nanocore on something like the Slasher, or the Slasher 2, you are going to pay a much higher price, as obviously it's going to be very powerful on the Slasher 2 Interceptor, which it can also be applied to. But for now, just understand that nanocores are based on the particular particular hull. So where it says Angel Veteran, that is the type of nanocore and the bonuses. Hurricane then is the type of hull, and you can check this for any ship, but it means that if you were looking, for example, at a Dragoon nanocore, that will apply to the Dragoon Trainer, the Dragoon Sniper, the Dragoon Assault, and indeed the Dragoon Command. So it gives you a lot of versatility there. So with that said, how do you actually fit one of these? How do you actually use it? Well, for this we need to head to the fitting panel, and here at the bottom left you can see there is a square icon that represents nanocores. So if we tap on that, it'll take us through to the nanocore page. And here you can have a look at the different nanocores that are available for the particular hull that you're flying. So for here, for example, we've got the Angel Recruit, the Angel Veteran, the Thermomagnetic Storm, and the Angel NCO core. So if we have a look at these as well, you'll see on the left hand side there is the option to display detailed info. This tells us more about the core. For starters, we have a main attribute that we can learn. As it tells you here, select an attribute to learn. You can only add one of these, either 12% turret damage, 15% turret thermal damage, and 15% turret electromagnetic damage. Now it is worth noting at this point that if your particular turret does not already do this particular type of damage, it is not going to magically add anything extra. I had previously hoped that, for example, going for the 15% turret electromagnetic damage on cannons would give them 15% electromagnetic damage of their current damage type. Unfortunately, it works on the case that there is 0 electromagnetic damage, so 0 plus 15% is still 0. It's multiplicative, not additive, which personally I feel is a shame, but hey, there we go. So you've got those different options there. You'll see there are also secondary attributes. Here with the Thermomagnetic Storm core, there are 6 secondary attributes that can be obtained by training a membrane, which we'll talk more about later. The type and stats of each secondary attribute are random. You can see here there's an example of what some of these might look like. Missile torpedo damage, additional capacitor, additional shields, Caldari medium drone damage, that kind of thing. We can actually hit a reroll on these to see if anything else changes, like power grid, additional armor. And you can play through. There are things like turret tracking is one of these, flight velocity is another. There's some really interesting stats that can be added to some of these if you're lucky enough to roll them. But again, we'll talk about that later. For now, we want to have a look at the Angel Veteran core. We have one of these in the station that we're docked at, so we can actually fit this one. So I'm going to tap on fit, and it'll bring up this part here, where Zappelli from the Independent Gaming Commission, which is a branch of Concord, more about that in another video, congratulates you on getting a nanocore and says, let's get started. You get an option to choose which one of the main attributes you wish to go for, whether it's like flight velocity, missile torpedo damage. In this case, I'm going to go for cannon damage, so we're just going to tap straight onto that. And it says, cool, thank you, we've recorded that. Are you absolutely sure? So yes, we tap on appearance customization and we hit confirm. We then wait a moment while the Fulmination test server catches up with us, because it's a very slow server for me to connect to. There we are. And finally, our friend Marcus from the Directive Intelligence Agency, another branch of Concord, comes along to talk about customizing appearance. Now, if you've unlocked something like the Dawn skin already on the Hurricane or the Rose Thorn, you can choose these and then modify the skin in question there. As you can see here on Fulmination, I haven't unlocked those. I'm going to go for the Angel Veteran because I like the look of this, but you can even just go for the standard Minmatar and edit from there. So we're going to go confirm select. We now get the option here, as you can see, of changing the colour of various aspects of this ship. Now, I quite like it this way, but just to showcase, let's take that all the way up to pink. We're going to put the saturation all the way up to maximum, and the hue, the value, all the way up as well. So I could make this a luminescent pink Hurricane, and I can change that to all these different colours of the rainbow, depending on how I choose to slide it. You've seen at the beginning of this video there are some horrific possibilities on some of these skins, but we are going to keep it that way there. So I'm now going to hit save and return on that, and then complete the custom. It gives me one final chance here just to check over everything that I want to do. Am I certain that I want to go for the cannon damage as my main attribute? Yes, I am. And am I happy with the appearance there? Yes, I am. So we fit the membrane and we hit confirm. Bam, that is now our ship with its shiny new nanocore fitted. So if we close all of this down and come back to the very front page, you'll see here our damage has gone up. We have now broken over the 1000 DPS mark, and the turrets are sitting at 985.69 DPS now, thanks to the nanocore. You'll also notice that above where it says Minmatar Hurricane, there's a blue line, and around the circle highlighting the ship as well, it has little blue highlights to let you know that a Type 2 nanocore has been applied to this ship, and there it is, docked and looking sexy as all hell with those Angel Cartel symbols on it. Now that we understand the basics of nanocores, it's worth having a look at how to source one of these for yourself. And the first and most obvious place you might look, perhaps, is the market. If we scroll down in the market, there is indeed a nanocore section that is then subdivided into frigates, destroyers, cruisers, battleships, and industrial ships. Now, as we're talking mainly on the Hurricane nanocores here, let's have a look in the battlecruiser section. This is then divided again between Amar, Caldari, Gallente, and Minmatar. And you may wonder why it is that the Amar get 12, whereas the Caldari, Gallente, and Minmatar all only get 6. Remember, nanocores in the background come from the different pirate factions. The Minmatar, of course, have the Angel Cartel, the Gallente Federation has the Serpentis Corporation, the Caldari State has our Gurustus Pirates friends, and then the Amar Empire are, of course, beset by both Sanchez Nation and the Blood Raider Covenant, which is where you get those twice as many ships. Anyway, let's have a look then at the Minmatar battlecruiser nanocores. You'll see again we've got green types and blue types. These are type 1s and type 2s, and it's worth noting that only type 1s and type 2s can be traded on the market. If it's type 3 or type 4, which are the purple ones, these cannot be traded by any known means. You cannot trade them on the market, you cannot jettison them, you cannot contract them, you cannot put them into corporation hangars. As far as I can tell, there is no way to actively trade a type 3 nanocore, so the market is only going to give you these type 2 nanocores, but you can then, of course, long press and see what they would do. So we have a look at the Hurricane Angel Recruit there, and see what its stats are, and compare that to our Hurricane Angel Veteran Core, which, of course, we've just fit to our Hurricane. That said, though, as I said, these are only the Type 1 and the Type 2. What if you want the Type 3 variants? Well, those you have to make yourself. Now, whilst we refer to this as making your own nanocores, it's technically not a manufacturing process so much as it is reverse engineering pirate data to get the nanocore that way. So it is a reverse engineering job. Let's tap into one of the empty ones, scroll down to nanocores here on the left hand side, and you can see that we can check out our type 1 nanocores, our type 2 nanocores, and our type 3. There's no type 4 here yet. We have been told that type 4 is going to be in EVE Echoes, but we have no idea how you get them yet. It's also worth repeating, I know I've only just said this, but type 3 nanocores are exclusive to you and to you alone. You cannot trade them, you cannot put them on the market, you cannot contract them, you cannot put them in corporation hangars, you cannot jettison them. And the reason I want to make that abundantly clear is the Thermomagnetic Storm Core is a Type 3 and therefore cannot be traded. I've seen a lot of people making that mistake already. Anyway, for this video we are looking at the Type 2 nanocores, and you can scroll through all of these different ones here. You'll see, of course, there's Serpentis, there's Gurustas, and then eventually here at the bottom we come to our Angel. So I'm going to go for the Hurricane Angel Veteran Core, because that's the one we're talking about in this video. Now, if you are used to at all in any way doing things like reverse engineer faction ship blueprints, you'll understand the pain here, and this will look remarkably reminiscent, that even if you use all of the materials available to you, you still aren't guaranteed success. And here, 50% success rate on what I tallied out to be about 460 million ISKs worth of materials is a painful risk. These are expensive and there is a lot of risk involved. Of course, the lower versions of nanocores do have a higher success rate. The rarer it is, the harder it is to make, which kind of makes sense, but it's still going to be heartbreaking if that 460 million ISK that I poured into a nanocore this morning is not successful when I check it out later. I will let you know. Now, of course, the first thing you're going to need then is the experiment data, which the more you use, the more likely you are to succeed. Now, of course, there are different types of experiment data. There are small, medium, and large. There are Angel, Gurustus, Serpentis, Blood Raider, and Sanchez Nation. And of course, there's like Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3 as well. Now, the Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3, of course, ties into the variant of nanocore you want to make. If you're making a Type 1 nanocore, then you would only need medium 1 Angel experiment data. If you're making something that is for a Serpentis ship, for example, like a Vexa, that is going to be medium Serpentis experiment data, and if it's a Type 2 core, it'll be medium 2 Serpentis experiment data. If you're looking to do something like a standard Condor Breeze nanocore, then that is going to be small 1 Gurustus experiment data. I hope that makes sense there. On the other side, you then have a bunch of materials related to that particular nanocore. In this case, we are looking at Minmatar device construction units, which I need 969 of. I need a whole whopping 556 medium device improvement mediums. I need 25 Angel Device Construction Units, and I need 28 Medium Device Compilation Optimization Mediums. Now, those are pretty mealy-mouthed, like, wordy things, so where do you actually get these? Well, let's jump out back into my inventory so I can talk about these one at a time. Now, to start with, we of course have the experiment data. This, straight up and down, drops in Nihilus dead spaces. You will find this inside cargo containers, inside Nihilus dead spaces. So if you're looking for Serpentis experiment data, you're going to need to do Serpentis Nihilus dead space. If you want Blood Raider experiment data, you need to do Blood Raider Nihilus dead spaces. They're in the cargo containers there. Obviously, the higher the meta level, the higher the chance of getting the good ones here, like the 2s or the 3s. The lower dead spaces will drop the 1s, etc., that allow you to make the Type 1 nanocores. Beyond this, though, there are of course those other different bits here, like the Angel Device Construction Units, the Medium Device Optimization Mediums, etc, etc, and these come from reprocessing, and again, these come from inside the dead spaces themselves. Those cargo containers will also contain a number of these, but you can also get them by reprocessing certain loot. Now, dead space loot is a very easy way of doing this, but I think some of the meta level 5 and 11, 5 and 8s do work as well. If we hit reprocess here on the Gisty's C-Type small autocannon, you'll see that it gives me both Angel Device Construction Units. Of course, it is a Gisty type, so a Gisty small shield booster, etc. will also give Angel Device Construction Units. A Gisty Micro Warp Drive will give Angel Device Construction Units. Because it is a small module, it also gives Small Device Compilation Optimization Mediums. If we take that one off and look at the medium, for example here, the medium autocannons, again, they are Gistum C-type medium autocannons, so they're going to give Angel Device Construction Units, but because they are medium-sized modules, they're going to give medium Device Compilation Optimization Mediums. As a final example then, let's look at this Pith C-type large missile launcher. Being Pith, it means it's a Gurustus device construction unit that you're going to be getting from this, and being a large missile means you're going to get large device compilation optimization mediums. Hopefully that makes sense, that the type of device construction unit you get is based on which pirate faction uses that, so Pith, Core, Senti, that kind of thing there, and then the large, medium, or small comes from the size of the particular module being used. A small device compilation optimization medium comes from smalls, mediums come from mediums, and large comes from larges. I'm not really sure what else to say, and that of course then gives you a nice way, so if you've got any extra dead space loot that you don't want to use, you can just reprocess it and make things that way that you can then use to reverse engineer your own nanocores. You may have spotted that there is a whole plethora of items related to nanocores that I haven't even talked about yet, though some of them were shown in the background of that previous section. You may have seen them in the Concord Pass, in the Concord Credit section of the store, that kind of thing. I've also talked about how you can re-customize your ship's appearance, and indeed things like secondary stats on nanocores. So let's now go into advanced nanocore usage by jumping back into the nanocore section here on this absolutely horrific looking skin that I put together for a previous video. It's actually kind of growing on me now, that kind of ridiculous neon aesthetic. Anyway, coming back into this, if we now tap on view details, you'll see there's a couple of new bits here that we can add. On the left hand side, you'll see that in addition to the basic 12% turret damage that the Thermomagnetic Storm Core adds, I've also got 4.65% additional turret damage thanks to secondary stats. So let's talk about training those secondary attributes now. You come to this menu, you tap on where it says training, and you'll see that it requires a couple of special materials. It requires Combat Data Stream Computing Chip 3s, and again the type of nanocore will dictate the type of chip required and the amount required. You can get these both in the Concord store and various other methods as well, and we also need to get some combat learning data banks, again found in the same ways through like those offense nanocore boxes and in the store. What you can then do, you can see here it requires 30 and 300. If we tap on training slot here, it will then actually, add those in and give us a certain amount of training towards our next slot. The first one requires 4, this one appears to require 6. So we're going to go through these one at a time with the Fulmination test server being as ridiculously slow as it is. It's going to take a bit of time to actually go through, and you can see it's a 92% success rate, and that success rate does drop each time, so you're not guaranteed success every time you do this, meaning these secondary attributes are expensive. They are fairly minor. Obviously you've seen 4.65% turret damage is a lot more minor than the 12% that came before it. So it's one of those that you're going to put a lot of money, a lot of effort into this, and you may only get quite small things. It makes it quite a bling aesthetic, which means I'm actually kind of for it, because it rewards you for going that extra mile, but it only gives you a small additional bonus on top. And again, I can hear people already in the background screaming pay to win on that. I massively disagree that it's pay to win, because simply put, yeah, my Hurricane now gets an additional 10.64% power grid, which is pretty awesome. That's not bad, actually. It might be enough for me to fit an oversized Nosferatu on there, in addition to the other modules that I already have. Or I can hit the refresh down here at the bottom and reconstruct it and see what else that might come up with each time. There we are, 7.29% capacitor. I actually prefer that one, so that's the one we're going to go with. But remember, yes, even though I've got all of these bonuses and skills now on this particular Hurricane, I can still get jumped by a fleet. And that's kind of the point of EVE, that it's completely asymmetrical, so nothing can ever be truly pay to win, because yeah, you can pay to buy yourself a Vindicator on like day 3, but if you don't have the skills and the pilot know how to fly it, you're going to lose it very, very quickly. Now, of course, that's in regards to adding additional attributes and re-rolling them and all this, and you can see here that even once you've officially got it in, you can still re-roll it using these sort of blue spheroid icons there, and in fact, that's a straight-up upgrade. I like that one there. We're going to put that on. Now, these are the Cloud AI Learning Code refactoring permissions, and again, you'll see that you need a Type 3 variant of that to work on this particular nanocore. Again, fairly expensive, but they are available there in the store. Let's move on though. If we come out of this and come back towards here, we can then go to Appearance. Here, we can use those exogenous light radiation recombination devices, and again, what a mouthful of scientific words that is. Exogenous light radiation recombination device. Basically, it allows you to change what the radiation and light looks like on your particular ship. So here I could go into Start Refactoring and I can start changing the colours of this particular skin. I don't actually have one of these in storage, and it's fairly obvious how this works, so I'm not going to go through all of that in this particular video. If you want to try that, we got some of these as part of our daily login rewards. Of course, just jump in there, mess around with it. Obviously, just play around with your skins, make sure you get it happy the first time, and you never have to worry about that ever again. So there we have it. Obviously, as you want to go into more and more of these, you can see we now get more going up. It was 4 for the first one, 6 for the second one. This one is now 8, which means I would anticipate the last one is going to be 10, and thus very, very expensive to fill out. Something to work towards if you've got the ISK to do so. It means that you can take these these nanocores as far as you want to, which I think is a pretty sweet way of doing things. And there we have it, just about everything that you could need to know regarding nanocores. A couple of final quick points to mention, however. Nanocores are indeed covered by insurance. If you undock your ship with a nanocore applied, it gets destroyed, and you bring it back with insurance, you will have the nanocore restored also. This is, however, a double-edged sword, as it does mean that obviously the nanocore is applied to the value of your ship. So, after applying a nanocore to a ship, it is just worth double-checking that you do still have sufficient IP to cover your ship should it be lost unexpectedly. The second thing to note is that the nanocores we have in the game right now are just the first wave. Like skins and other things, there are going to be more nanocores added to the game as time progresses, and they've said as well that these will include more for industrial ships, more for specialist roles, like we may have dedicated Guardian nanoskins, or Interceptor or Interdictor nanoskins, which frankly I think could be really cool. Plus a whole load of new nanoskins for ships that we already have, like ones for the Dominics, etc., that have more drone-related skills, that kind of thing. So there's definitely a lot more of exciting nanocore news on the way, so do stay tuned to this channel to make sure you hear about those as soon as they arrive. Otherwise, folks, let me know what your thoughts and opinions are regarding nanocores in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what your favourite one is and why, and how you're finding them so far in the game. Of course, I do apologise for anyone who, at the time of writing, is using a missile or a drone ship, as there is an absolute dearth of missile and drone nanocores, but hey, there we go. Anyway, folks, thank you ever so much for watching, happy sailing, and see you in New Eden!